If you've always wanted a vibrant, long-lasting container garden, but don't have the time or energy to pamper your plants, perennials are the ultimate solution. Unlike annuals that need replanting every year, these beauties keep coming back, stronger and fuller with each season. Even better, the varieties below practically thrive on neglect, meaning they're perfect for gardeners who want maximum beauty with minimum effort. Let's dive into the top perennials that look stunning in pots and require little more than a bit of sunlight, occasional watering, and a place to shine. 1. Hostas, the shade lover. Hostas are often described as the kings of foliage because their leaves alone can turn a plain corner into a lush oasis. They come in countless varieties, ranging from deep emerald to variegated patterns of cream and lime, and their big leafy mounds soften the look of any patio or balcony. Best of all, hostas thrive in shade, which makes them perfect if you have areas where other flowers refuse to grow. In containers, hostas perform just as well as they do in the ground. They're incredibly forgiving plants. You can forget about them for weeks and they'll still bounce back once watered. Because of their resilience, they're often considered nearly unkillable. In late summer, they even produce tall, elegant stalks topped with lavender or white blooms, adding a bonus touch of beauty. Pair them with contrasting plants like ferns or heucheras for an effortless layered look. Second, daylilies, the color explosion. If you crave bright, cheerful bursts of color but hate constant maintenance, daylilies are for you. Their trumpet-shaped flowers come in fiery reds, sunny yellows, soft pinks, and even rich purples. What makes them especially suited for the lazy gardener is their ability to bloom profusely without needing deadheading. Each flower lasts just one day, but the plant produces so many that your container will stay colorful for weeks on end. Daylilies also adapt well to different soil conditions and don't mind a bit of neglect. Place them in a sunny spot, water them occasionally, and they'll reward you year after year with an explosion of color. They're also hardy enough to survive winter in pots if protected, so you don't have to replant them every season. 3. Lavender, the aromatic classic. Few plants are as iconic in containers as lavender. With its silvery foliage and delicate purple spikes, lavender adds a touch of elegance to balconies, patios, or even small apartment gardens. But beyond its looks, lavender's real charm is its fragrance. The soothing aroma fills the air with every breeze, creating a relaxing outdoor atmosphere that feels like a Mediterranean retreat. Lavender thrives in full sun, making it an ideal choice for bright spots. It doesn't require rich soil. Actually, it prefers lean, well-drained conditions, so you won't need to fuss with constant fertilizing. Bonus, lavender naturally attracts bees, butterflies, and other pollinators, bringing life to your container garden. And as if that weren't enough, it also repels some pests like mosquitoes, making it both practical and beautiful. 4. Sedum stonecrop, the survivor. If you're the type of gardener who constantly forgets to water, sedum is your new best friend. This family of succulents is built for survival. Their fleshy, water-storing leaves allow them to thrive on neglect, making them one of the most carefree plants you can grow. Sedums come in many varieties, from low-growing mats that spill over the edges of containers to upright forms that add height and texture. Their blooms, often clusters of tiny star-shaped flowers, appear in late summer and attract pollinators. But even when they're not in bloom, the geometric, fleshy foliage provides visual interest all year round. They're also excellent in mixed container arrangements, pairing beautifully with other drought-tolerant plants like lavender or salvia. And since they laugh in the face of poor soil and drought, you can practically forget they exist until you remember to admire them. 5. Echinacea, coneflowers. Coneflowers are bold, cheerful perennials that deliver serious color with very little work. With their daisy-like blooms in shades of purple, pink, white, and even orange, they add a wildflower charm to containers while also being tough as nails. Echinacea tolerates poor soil, heat, drought, and even inconsistent watering. Beyond their beauty, coneflowers are pollinator magnets. Bees and butterflies can't resist them. In late summer and fall, their seed heads provide food for birds, meaning your pots will continue to support life well after the blooms fade. And because they're perennials, they'll reliably return every season, often with even more vigor than the year before. For the lazy gardener, it doesn't get much better than planting once and enjoying for years. 6. Heuchera coral bells. Heuchera, commonly known as coral bells, is one of the most versatile and visually stunning perennials you can grow in containers. While many plants rely on flowers for their charm, Heuchera stands out because of its vibrant, colorful foliage. The leaves are heart-shaped or scalloped, and they come in an incredible range of shades: deep burgundy, smoky purple, lime green, peach, amber, silver, and even multicolored blends. This variety makes it easy to find a type that perfectly complements your container garden design. One of Heuchera's biggest strengths is that it looks attractive throughout the growing season. Unlike some perennials that shine only while flowering, coral bells provide year-round interest thanks to their evergreen or semi-evergreen foliage, depending on the climate. In late spring to early summer, the plant sends up tall, slender stalks, topped with clusters of delicate, bell-shaped flowers. These blooms, which can be pink, white, or red, rise above the leaves and gently sway in the breeze, adding lightness and movement to the container. They also attract pollinators like bees and hummingbirds, giving your garden extra life. Coral bells are remarkably easy to grow in pots. They thrive in partial shade, which makes them perfect for patios, porches, or balcony corners that don't get direct sunlight all day. Some varieties can even tolerate more sun if the soil stays moist. Speaking of soil, Heuchera prefers well-draining mixes, something containers naturally provide, so you don't have to worry much about root rot if you avoid overwatering. Another reason they're perfect for container gardening is their compact size. Most grow into neat mounds between 12 to 18 inches tall, making them ideal for small spaces or as accent plants in larger mixed arrangements. They pair beautifully with ferns, hostas, and ornamental grasses, creating layered, textured displays without much effort. Maintenance is minimal. A little watering during hot spells, an occasional tidy up of old leaves, and a light feeding in spring is usually all they need. In colder climates, you can overwinter them by moving pots to a sheltered spot or mulching around the base. With this simple care, coral bells will return stronger each year, often producing more vibrant foliage as they mature. 7. Salvia, the hummingbird magnet. Salvia is one of the most rewarding perennials you can grow in containers, especially if you love a garden full of movement, color, and life. Known for its tall spikes of flowers and striking shades of purple, blue, red, or even bicolor blends, salvia is a true magnet for hummingbirds, bees, and butterflies. Place just one pot on your balcony or patio, and you'll quickly notice pollinators flocking to it throughout the season. One of salvia's best qualities is its long bloom time. Many varieties flower from late spring all the way into early fall, giving you months of continuous color without much effort. The vertical spikes rise elegantly above the foliage, adding height and drama to containers. They look especially beautiful when planted alongside lower-growing plants like coral bells, hostas, or creeping sedums, which provide a soft contrast to salvia's upright form. Salvia thrives in full sun and is incredibly heat and drought tolerant once established. This makes it an excellent choice for sunny patios, balconies, or rooftop gardens where other plants might struggle with the heat. In fact, salvia is one of the few perennials that seems to bloom even better in tough conditions, rewarding neglect rather than punishing it. Forget to water for a few days? Salvia won't mind. Another reason salvia is a lazy gardener's dream is its low-maintenance nature. It doesn't need frequent fertilizing, and most varieties self-clean, meaning they keep producing flowers without you having to constantly deadhead. A light trim after the first flush of blooms can encourage a second wave of flowers later in the season, but even if you skip this step, the plant still looks tidy and presentable in pots. 8. Shasta daisy, the classic beauty. The Shasta daisy is one of the most iconic and cheerful perennials you can add to a container garden. With its crisp white petals radiating around a sunny yellow center, it embodies the classic daisy look that instantly brightens any space. Whether on a patio, balcony, or front porch, a pot of blooming Shasta daisies creates a timeless cottage garden charm that feels both fresh and welcoming. One of the reasons Shasta daisies are such a great fit for containers is their upright, tidy growth habit. They form neat clumps of dark green foliage, and their sturdy stems hold the flowers high, giving pots a burst of color and structure without looking messy. Depending on the variety, they can grow anywhere from 12 inches to 3 feet tall, making them versatile for both small containers and larger mixed displays. The real beauty of Shasta daisies lies in their long blooming season. They usually flower from early summer into early fall, offering months of reliable color. Each bloom lasts a long time, and the plant produces many flowers per season, so your containers stay lively and full. Deadheading, removing spent blooms, can encourage even more flowers, but even without it, Shasta daisies remain attractive. Another major perk is their low-maintenance nature. They're hardy, resilient, and don't require pampering to thrive. Give them a sunny spot, well-draining soil, and occasional watering, and they'll reward you with abundant blooms year after year. They don't need rich soil. Average potting mix works just fine. And they're relatively drought-tolerant once established. Shasta daisies also make excellent companion plants in containers. Their clean white and yellow flowers provide the perfect backdrop for more colorful perennials like echinacea, daylilies, or salvia. Pair them with lavender for a fragrant, contrasting look, or with coral bells for a mix of bold foliage and classic blooms. Beyond beauty, they're also wildlife-friendly. Pollinators like bees and butterflies are drawn to their nectar, and birds often enjoy their seed heads in the fall if you leave them untrimmed. 9. Astilbe, the feathered elegance. Astilbe is a perennial that brings a touch of softness and romance to any container garden. Unlike bold bloomers that rely on bright colors or big leaves, Astilbe stands out for its delicate, feathery flower plumes that rise above a bed of lush, fern-like foliage. These airy plumes come in a range of shades: soft pinks, pure whites, deep reds, and even lavender tones, making them a versatile choice for adding elegance and lightness to pots and planters. What makes Astilbe especially valuable for container gardeners is its shade tolerance. Many flowering plants struggle in lower light areas, but Astilbe thrives in partial to full shade, making it the perfect choice for patios, porches, or balcony corners that don't get full sun. Instead of fading, it actually prefers cooler, sheltered spots where its blooms can last longer. This ability makes it a must-have for balancing out sun-loving perennials like lavender or salvia in your overall container display. The foliage alone is worth growing Astilbe. Its finely textured, glossy green leaves create a beautiful mound at the base of the plant, offering year-round structure and interest even when the flowers are not in bloom. In mixed planters, this foliage contrasts beautifully with broad-leaved plants like hostas or the bold colors of heucheras. Astilbe typically blooms in late spring to midsummer, depending on the variety. The flowers last several weeks, and when they eventually fade, they can be left on the plant to dry gracefully, adding texture and a natural look to containers well into autumn. While Astilbe is low maintenance, it does appreciate consistent moisture, especially in pots where soil dries out more quickly. It doesn't like to dry out completely, so keeping the soil evenly damp will ensure healthy growth and long-lasting blooms. Using a rich, well-draining potting mix and adding mulch on top can help retain moisture. Beyond that, Astilbe asks for very little, just a shady spot, some water, and room to grow. This plant is also a favorite among pollinators. Bees and butterflies are drawn to its plumes, and the layered look of its flowers adds a sense of movement and depth to any container display. 10. Sedum Autumn Joy, the year-round showstopper. Sedum Autumn Joy is one of the most dependable and versatile perennials for container gardens. Beloved by both beginners and seasoned gardeners, this plant truly earns its reputation as a four-season performer. Unlike many perennials that shine for only a few weeks, Autumn Joy evolves in appearance throughout the year, offering something new to enjoy each season. In spring, it starts with tight clusters of fleshy, succulent-like leaves in a fresh, bright green. These leaves form neat, compact mounds that fill containers with structure early in the growing season. By summer, the plant sends up sturdy stems topped with large, flat clusters of tiny star-shaped buds. These buds open into soft pink flower heads that are both beautiful and long-lasting. As the season progresses into late summer and fall, the flowers gradually shift in color, from pink to deeper rose, then finally into a rich, rusty red. This transformation adds layers of seasonal interest, making your containers look alive and changing without requiring you to lift a finger. Even in winter, the dried flower heads can be left standing, where they provide texture and sculptural beauty against the backdrop of frost or snow. One of the best qualities of Sedum Autumn Joy is its hardiness and resilience. Like other sedums, it thrives in full sun and tolerates drought extremely well, thanks to its water-storing leaves. Forget to water it for a while? No problem. It will bounce back easily, making it ideal for gardeners who don't want to fuss with daily care. In fact, the only thing this plant dislikes is soggy soil, so a well-draining potting mix is key to keeping it happy. Another reason this plant is such a showstopper is its wildlife appeal. The flowers are rich in nectar, making them a magnet for bees, butterflies, and other pollinators during the summer and fall. Later in the year, birds enjoy snacking on the dried seed heads, meaning your container garden continues to support life even after the blooming season ends. In terms of design, Sedum Autumn Joy works wonderfully as a centerpiece, and large containers are grouped with other drought-tolerant plants like lavender, salvia, or ornamental grasses. Its upright form and changing flower colors create a dynamic focal point that never feels static. Maintenance couldn't be easier. Other than occasional watering during dry spells and a quick cutback in late winter or early spring, to make way for new growth, it requires virtually no care. Year after year, it returns stronger, filling out its container and putting on a reliable display.